Welcome to General Mathematics. So in this video, we're going to look into the different concepts that are related to logarithmic functions. So our objective for this video is to represent real-life applications of logarithmic function, define logarithm as well as logarithmic equation, and to convert exponential function to logarithmic function or convert exponential equation to logarithmic equation and vice versa. So in many applications of exponential growth and decay, sometimes we are asked to find the time interval t in some particular problems. So instead of looking for the value of y, we're looking for the value of the exponent t. So in other form, for example, in a is equal to a of o times e raised to kt. So this is the relative growth rate. So sometimes we are asked to look for this before we can look for the time, or sometimes given yung time pero hindi given yung k, or given yung k pero hindi given yung time. The same with problems involving these equations and the decay equation. So in this case, ano yung kailangan nating gawin? So we know that in solving exponential equation, to solve for the exponent, we need to look for a common base. However, there are exponential equations that are not easy to solve. So for instance, we have 2 raised to x is equal to 3. So the base here is 2 and 3. So how are you going to look for the common base of 2 and 3? We know that mahirap siyang hanapan ng common base because their common base is not a whole number. So meron tayong decimals, and it is difficult to just estimate or round off the decimals to a certain value, because if your estimation or rounding off is not right, then that would lead to an error in your calculation or error in measurements. So the common base cannot be easily solved for 2 raised to x is equal to 3. But we know that there is a value of x that would result to the function be equal to 3. So it can also be seen in the graph of f of x is equal to 2 raised to x, where the value of x here is approximately 1.584 and 9 continues. So yun. And ayan. So we know that if we graph the function f of x is equal to 2 raised to x, kapag ang f of x is equal to 3, kapag ang 2 raised to x is equal to 3, there is a value of x here. And that is seen in our graph. But because our graph is limited sa kung ano lang ang pwedeng ipapakita niyang value, hindi natin nalalaman, especially kung wala naman tayong ganitong simulator, for example, Desmos, kung magagraph ka lang just by paper. So it is difficult to measure what is the value of x here. So instead of using exponential, sabi natin diba that an exponential equation, exponential function is a one-to-one, has a one-to-one relationship. So is a one-to-one function. And according to inverse and one-to-one function, any function that is one-to-one has an inverse. So the inverse of exponential is logarithm. So the logarithmic function. So therefore, instead of using exponential equation, solving for x through exponential equations, we can use logarithm to solve for the value of x. So logarithm or the logarithmic equation in one variable is an equation involving logarithm of expression. So dito, sabi dito, logarithmic equation is an equation involving logarithmic expression. Ayan. So if this is an equation, so we know that this is a logarithmic equation because we have this expression, logarithmic expression. So log of n to the base b is equal to x. So ayan, kung paano natin babasahin, we have here the logarithm of n to the base b is equal of x, or logarithm of n with base b is equal to x, or pwede rin na the logarithm with base b of n or log of n. So wag na natin buuin yung logarithm. So pwede rin na basahin nyo siya as log base b. Ay, ba't binibase ko din dito? Sorry. Log base b of n is equal to x. Or if x is, if the equation is written in this manner, yan. So, you can read it as x is equal to the logarithm of n to the base b. So, for example, we have here this logarithmic equation. For example, ito. So, to read this, we can read this as the logarithm of 4 to the base 2 is equal to 2, or log 2 of, log 2 of 4 is equal to 2. So, yun yung pagbasa nito. So, logarithm is the exponent to which the base must be raised to yield a given number. So, sabi natin that logarithm is the inverse. So, this is the inverse of exponential. So, if we have here an exponential equation, so the value of the logarithm, kapag sinold mo to using a logarithm, ang makukuha mong value is the value of x, or the exponent. So, therefore, logarithm is simply the exponent of an exponential equation. So, to solve for this, we can use logarithmic equations. So, definition, that the logarithm of a number n to the base b is the exponent of the power to which b is raised to obtain n. So, in symbols, log of n to the base b is equal to x if and only if, kapag kinonvert natin siya into its exponential form, b raised to x is equal to n. So, yan. So, eto lang siya kapag ang exponential form niya will result to this number. Yan. For the logarithm with base 10, it is called the common logarithm or the Briggshian logarithm. I forgot the spelling of Briggshian. But, yan. So, common logarithm. Tawagin na lang. Common logarithm. So, common logarithm has a base 10. So, in your calculator, yung log function dyan is to the base 10. That is already, programmed in that manner. So, for those higher or advanced calculator, you can specify the base. But in mga common na tawag dyan, scientific calculator, yung mga mura lang na scientific calculator, the value of the base there is programmed to be 10. So, yeah. So, for logarithm with base 10, we just write it as log. No need to write the base because it is understood that when the base is not given, so we have here log and the base is not written here, we know that the value of the base is automatically equal to 10. So we can just write it, instead of this, we can just write this log of n is equal to x. Also, we also have this logarithm with the base b. So for the logarithm with the base b, we call it as natural logarithm because this is the natural base. So yeah, natural base e. So for natural base e, instead of writing log, we just write ln to denote natural logarithm, and no need to write e because it is already indicated that when this is ln, the base is e. So ln of n is equal to x. We know that the base is e. So, logarithm is the inverse of exponential. So, therefore, we can convert exponential to logarithmic equations and convert logarithmic equations back to exponential equations. So, let us have the following examples. So, I have here 4 problems, 4 examples for converting exponential to logarithmic equation. So, you may copy this first and then pause this video. After I answer problem number 1, you may pause this video and then resume watching to see whether your answers are correct. So for number 1, 2 raised to 2 is equal to 4. So let us first write here the form, exponential form and the logarithmic form. So we have here b raised to x is equal to n, and for logarithmic, we have log of n to the base b is equal to x. So as you can see, we have here the value, the same value. So b, x, and n. So dito, ano yung value ni b? So we know that the value of b is this one. So base is equal to 2, yung x natin is equal to 2, and this is the value of n. So the result of raising 2 raised to 2 is equal to 4. So dito, to convert it to logarithm, we just write log, and then ano yung value ni base? So this is b is equal to 2, and then ano yung value ni n? So we know that n is equal to 4, and then ano yung value ni x? So ang value ni x is equal to 2. So based from this exponential equation. So therefore, 2 raised to 2 is equal to 4 is the same as the logarithm of 4 to the base 2 is equal to 2. So let us answer the next problems and check nyo kung tama yung mga sagot ninyo. So here, again, we have here the base, we have here the exponent, and we have here our value of n. So log, so base natin is equal to 10, ang n natin is 1,000, is equal to, x natin is equal to 3. So 10 raised to 3 is equal to 1,000 is the same as writing it in logarithm of 1,000 to the base 10 is equal to 3. So for number 3, we have here 25 raised to 1 half is equal to 5. So log of 5 to the base of 25 is equal to 1 half. And then, for number 4, k raised to x is equal to 16. So, log, yung base natin is k, and yung n natin is 16, is equal to x. So, as you can see, pwede kayong gumamit ng iba-ibang letter dito. Depende sa given problem. So, yan. So, minsan kasi nakakalito, depende sa mga ginagamit na letters. But, as long as you know this form, you can convert it from exponential to logarithmic and back. So let us now try to convert logarithmic equation to exponential equation. So again, I have here 4 problems. You may copy it and try answering it. So based doon sa previous natin na examples, try answering this one and then resume watching to know whether your answers are correct. Okay, so for number 1, again, isulat natin dito yung form ng logarithmic and exponential. So, we have here log of n to the base b is equal to x, and we have here b raised to x is equal to n. So, yung value dito ni base, we know that this is the value of the base, this is the value of n, and this is the value of x. So, isulat natin. So, dito, b, yung base natin is 4, yung x natin is 3, and then yung n natin is equal to 64. So apply nyo to in the following problem. So we have here 143 raised to 2 is equal to 20,449. So dito naman, we have here log of n to the base b is equal to x, log of n to the base b is equal to n. So to write it in exponential equation, we have here, sana yung base? B raised to n is equal to m. And for our last example, we have here 2 raised to negative 3 is equal to 1/8. So that's how you convert logarithmic back to exponential. So again, guided tayo nung ating itong notation natin dito. Itong equation or form for logarithmic equation and the form of the exponential equation.